Um, and I'm starting to make a form. The straws that I have are these multicolored straws. They are not required. I'd be perfectly satisfied if this was all black or all white or all one color, it doesn't matter. I'm just dealing with what I have at the moment and seeing what happens. Remember, this is just a model. You're just experimenting, familiarizing yourself with the new material and seeing how you can construct something with it, with rudimentary tools such as a heat gun, scissors, or I mean a hot glue gun, glue sticks, which you might need to get more of these. And you might need more packs of the straws than you think you will. And I have a ruler here, which helps me cut little pieces of straws to size. So for example, you can kind of see I'm building this. So when I started to build this, my building method changed. I thought I was originally going to, based on the video before this, you can kind of maybe see the circle I drew down, and I tried to replicate that circle, which I did with the first layer, which is right here. And then after that, I started just to build up, just like you see these little sticks here. And these are about 2 inches long each. I think the one down here wasn't 2 inches, and I started to cut in length of the same length. So as you start to develop this project, or as you start to experiment with the materials and the mediums, you're going to start to develop a system just like you did in the previous project. So you can kind of see I'm building up, and then after that, I just build on top. I just glue another layer all the way around, and it's pretty quick. Actually, the layer going around this way is faster, and I thought originally I was going to have to build these layers individually and then connect them on top as I was going. That would have been time consuming and frustrating. I'm glad I didn't have to go that direction. And now I'm just kind of enjoying this. I'm just building this thing and seeing where it goes. Now, this was my original drawing, really rudimentary, crude drawing. And you can see here, I staggered my lines right there and there. My model here doesn't do that. It actually just goes, every joint, it builds from each joint as it goes up. It just kind of happened that way as you start to build. Not everything's gonna work out like you're drawing, and not everything's gonna work out like this. So you marry both processes together. So I'm gonna put my drawing on the side, but basically this drawing in the previous project is a form like this from an artist that I'm just kind of copying, basically. And seeing if I can make something similar, and hopefully it will inform my main idea. And again, this is just a model. Once you get this built, then you're gonna apply paper mache on top of it and see what happens there. Again, it's just 2 different models, and you're gonna just experiment with the medium, and don't go too large. Don't get too lost on this, because you save your energy for the main design. For this, you're just kind of like making something, seeing if it works. Great. This is kind of cool too, because it can go on a wall. It's flat. Okay, so I'm just going to show you my process here. What I do is I just grab a straw. I use my ruler here, and I'm just going to cut it to size. Now, actually, so I think it was 2 inches. So if I move this on the side, you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm putting the straw down 2 inches. You could also just have a straw that's 2 inches and put it next to it, and then cut it again, whatever's fastest. And what I'm doing here, because I thought I was going to use these bendy parts like I did here, and I'm not using them yet, and I'm just going to save them, so I might use them at some point. They might be useful later on, but right now I'm just kind of going with these little 2-inch lengths, and I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4 joints left, so I'm gonna let's get 2 more. Now the nice thing about cutting into inch lengths, and because it's such an easy material to snip, in my drawing in this particular design, it starts to turn. And if you look at these ellipses, they start to angle like my finger is. So that represents these circles going around. So it's gonna have to go on a diagonal like this. What I can do is, after I make my 2-inch strips, then I'm just gonna kind of cut it on a diagonal, and then I'll put my next layer on. Seems simple. Originally I was gonna cut them smaller and smaller, but that just seems difficult, so why not make it easy on myself? And this is gonna be annoying. So I just got my glue stick, put a little dab of glue, and I just put this on here, and it's gonna wanna tip over. So I'm just kind of playing with gravity and until it stands straight. So it's gonna take a minute or so for the glue to start to cure and get a little more hardening up. And while that's happening, you can just take another one and work the other one. And then you'll have two of them that you're playing this game with. The glue can be frustrating at times. I have 3 of them. I'm trying to juggling act. Sticks to your finger. There's these little strands that pull. So at first you're gonna probably be annoyed. You can kind of tell that I have one that fell over a little bit and I forgot about it, so it's a little crooked. Not a big deal. This is the armature, so not totally going to show, even though I really like it as it is. But this is the structure. Okay, one more. Excuse me. So after this one kind of stands the way I want it to, then I can start to build my layer going across. But I am going to start to angle it down a bit. So you can kind of see the ones that I put in here, they're definitely hard enough where I can cut without it affecting its the line that I'm creating. All right. So since this one here is crooked and it kind of goes down anyway, I think I'm going to cut on an angle going down this way. So maybe I'll have this one as my lowest. And I'm just going to eye it. I'm just going to go up. And then I'll go this direction. Maybe a little bit more here. So you can kind of see the plane is a bit of a diagonal. Next thing, take a straw. And what I'm going to do is just find a section, and I'm going to line it up, and I'm going to try to make sure that half of this is touching an open mouth, and the other half of it is touching an open mouth. And I'm leaving a room so I can put another one on. So don't go over, because you're going to prevent yourself from applying another piece. So I measured somewhat, and right now all I'm going to do is going to cut or glue the sides, but I'm going to angle this just a little bit. What I did is, I don't know if you can tell, but I kind of cut it on a diagonal. So because when you turn these, it helps them fit into one another. You can do both sides if you want, but you don't have to. Okay, that's how fast it is. It's really easy. You don't have to sit there and try to perfect it. And it's hard to tell, but if you look there, you can see that there's an opening, a little bit of an opening here and a little bit of an opening there, which will allow me to put the next piece on, because I have something for it to sit on. Get my next piece, angle it, and again, I just angle one end, and when you glue the other side, make sure you glue the appropriate bottom part. There you go. Move on to the next one. It's really kind of fast. It's fun. I'm actually enjoying this now. Do the next one. Angle it. Put it on there. Now, if you're unsure how to reload these things, all you do is just put the glue in the back and automatically pulls it. So you can kind of see it starting to taper down on an angle. I'm getting closer to my idea. It might not be as short and stocky as this one, but it's a starting point, that's all. And I'll make a separate video about the paper mache part. But now you can see I'm starting to kind of come back up. And you may even find a system better than this. I don't know, I learned more from students working than you do from me, to be honest. Over the years, I've just seen how students really figure things out, or find multiple solutions of process, and I kind of take those ideas and present it the following semester. But I always give students credit because you guys are the ones that figure it out. And one more. This one I'm going to cut on both sides because it's the last one. So I just kind of angled it on both sides. See if it fits. Good. Nice thing about this glue gun, it's a low temp. You might burn your finger a little bit, but not bad. It doesn't melt the straws. If it's really high temp, it'll melt the straws probably. Also, if it's accidentally on something flammable, it should not light up. But I do say for safety precautions, always unplug it when you're not using it. And so you can kind of see my little plane that I created isn't perfectly even. It's a little, but that's okay. At least it's starting to turn. So the next one, I would probably try to keep this really short, and then I would make this long, and I might even angle these in a direction instead of going straight up like I've been going. So I might start to turn. So this model I'm making is getting a little bigger than what I expected. This is kind of, remember I said the size of a human head, so this is about the size of the model I want you to make, so you don't spend too much time on this and just kind of familiarize yourself with the material. But I think I'm going to move forward with this because I'm enjoying this, and I'm going to see what happens once I make this a little bigger. All right, let me know if you have any questions.